While we're on the topic of abortion, let's talk about how apparently Roberts is putting out the narrative that he fought to save Roe v. Wade. And they just wanted to let states go a little closer in time than what Roe v. Wade did.
Beginning this hour with new CNN reporting that takes us behind the scenes, revealing just how close the Supreme Court came to saving Roe v. Wade. According to multiple sources, Chief Justice John Roberts fought to the bitter end, trying to convince his fellow conservative justices to preserve the constitutional right to abortion. But it was the unprecedented leak of a draft opinion reversing Roe that may have doomed Roberts' efforts.
New details obtained by CNN reveal the high-stakes internal abortion rights drama that intensified in April when the justices first learned the draft opinion would soon be published. Tensions.
I don't know if Roberts leaked it, then I don't think we'd be hearing this story now.
Chance Roberts had to dislodge the 5-justice bloc set to overturn the abortion ruling.
Joining us to share her fascinating new reporting here is CNN leader.
I would say it's like a Coney or a Gorsuch office.
How hard he was fighting to bring some folks over to his
Maybe even Alito's office, yeah. Craleo, welcome.
Extremely hard. He was trying week after week after the initial vote in December, after oral arguments, in which 5 of the justices on the far right voted to overturn Roe. Roberts was alone in the middle, wanting to uphold this Mississippi 15-week ban on abortions, but not go further than Roe. And then, of course, you had the 3 liberals saying, we don't want to do any of this. We don't want to disrupt abortion rights at all. So Roberts keeps trying, and it's interesting, Brianna, that not only did his work affect, his efforts toward the 2 newest justices, Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett, but it had an effect on the others. The hard right justices became concerned that he could be successful. The chief has himself switched votes in the past, and he has also been able to pick off justices on the far conservative side for a more of a moderate centrist decision in certain cases. So they became anxious about what he was up to. And the liberals, who had such a defeat this session, started to have some hope that maybe Roe would not be overturned completely. But then on May 2nd, when the draft of the opinion was released and everything
No. I'm glad they did it. I'm glad that there wasn't this compromise with Roberts. We're gonna set it at 15 weeks, and then they're gonna come back next session and they're gonna let blah blah Alabama have a 9-week ban, and it was gonna be bullshit. I'm glad they just went ahead and did it, and now we get to show them the political consequences of them doing it. My God, I hope it motivates people in the fall, and it does look like it has swung polling in Democrats' favor barely.
Efforts all the harder, because he's a man who likes to work privately, in secret, offering some concessions himself, seeking concessions for some sort of, as I say, cross-ideological compromise. And it went down to the wire, according to my sources, but in the end, he made no headway.
The first vote, which I learned only from your reporting, was back in December. I mean, it was earlier than I think we had realized. You said it went down to the wire, though. Did either Kavanaugh or Amy Coney Barrett ever give any reason to anyone to believe that they were going to side with
It is a puff piece to make Roberts look good. That's why I'm saying this narrative is coming from Roberts.
With Brett Kavanaugh, who often will, sound ambivalent and send mixed signals.
I would think. I don't have any inside information on that.
Just how much encouragement he might have given the chief. As I understand it, his vote was solid, but he never said that he wasn't going to listen to the chief. So the chief kept trying. The thing that happened that, as I said, really thwarted things was when it was clear to the public how Justice Kavanaugh and Justice Barrett had voted. It locked them in more than might have been expected at that point. It made made it all the more difficult. And, you know, I do.
We always knew that was the way they were going to vote.
He said during his confirmation hearing, and despite the way that his sort of a belief.
That's what I'm thinking, Virtual World. That's why I'm thinking, like, this is coming straight from Robert's office.
Never going to switch. He was probably never going to change after he first said that he wanted to reverse Roe. His signal from the bench during those oral arguments, John, in December before they took that vote was, you know, pretty strong.
Well, okay, so the conventional wisdom on that is that they had taken the vote was to overturn Roe. They leaked that draft opinion that overturned Roe to make sure that Amy Coney Barrett or Justice Gorsuch didn't switch their votes. So, like, they were locked in because, like, if they had decided to just side with Roberts on the 15-week ban, then, like, they would have looked like they had reversed their position. So that's why they're saying that the leak locked them in and affected the final outcome. That Roberts may have been able to get through to them between December and when did we get the final decision? The end of May? Or was it like the week before my birthday? I don't even remember now. You guys remember last week, because of the Supreme Court decision on Roe v. Wade, and because of the willingness of the court to revisit anything decided on the 14th Amendment, Congress took a vote on federally codifying same-sex marriage. This is leaked audio from a Republican who voted against it. It is U.S. Representative Glenn Thompson. Was that Warlord said Glenn Thompson win? I think back earlier. Yeah, Glenn Thompson, yeah. I had no fucking clue who you were talking about. Oh, I thought he was from Georgia. I said he was from Georgia. Apparently, he is a representative from Pennsylvania. U.S. Representative Glenn Thompson, who had voted against the House Democrats' bill to protect same-sex marriage at the state and federal level, just days before attending his son's own gay wedding, had this to say.
We've been fortunate with 3 sons and done a great job of adding to the family. Every kid showed up through cesarean section, so it wasn't all pleasant, right? So this has been a really good experience. Especially for Penny. New son into the family.
So for those of you who might not be able to make that out, he said, this has been a really good experience to have a new son enter the family. We're just blessed. Clearly very happy about it. Wild.
We're just blessed, and we just want to say thank you, and everyone's here as part of the celebration.
What a fucking hypocrite. What a fucking hypocrite.
Come on, man.
Why you gotta be such a hypocrite for? Not a complete asshole, but he voted against codifying same-sex marriage at the federal level. He voted against the thing he was praising, saying it had been a really good experience. Fuck this dude. He is a hypocrite. Speaking of hypocrites, Matt Gaetz stands by his controversial comments on female abortion rights protesters.
It's good to see everybody.
Representative Matt Gaetz met with seniors in Escambia County Monday, 2 days after speaking at a conservative summit in Tampa.
The people are just
disgusting.
The congressman posted the Turning Point USA speech to Facebook, including his take on pro-choice protesters.
Why is it that the women with the least likelihood of getting pregnant are the ones most worried about having abortions?
That is a George Carlin joke that he just told in reverse. Wait, what's the Carlin bit? Why is it that the people that are most pro-life are the people you wouldn't want to fuck anyway?
Nobody wants to impregnate you if you look like a thumb. They're like 5'2".
You look like a thumb, dude.
And they're like, give me my abortions or I'll get up and march and protest. And I'm thinking, march? You look like you got ankles weaker than the legal reasoning behind Roe versus Wade.
Those comments.
Also, I'd just like to say, how in the fuck is Matt Gaetz still in Congress? I wonder it every day. How in the fuck is Matt Gaetz still in Congress?
Congressman Matt Gaetz.
Becoming a talking point Monday morning on The View.
Comments like he made really leave no room for any intellectual conversation because he went so low on that.
I spoke with Gaetz after Monday morning's event and asked him about his comments.
Is it safe to say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
Abortion is a basic right. Fight, fight, fight.
Be offended.
The center of Gaetz's comments sit right here in Pensacola.
What's your reaction to that?
I think, this trend of really dismissing and diminishing women who are fighting for their right to bodily autonomy and their right to basic, healthcare as being just like too ugly to even need access to
too old for him indeed.
Misogyny that these abortion bans are rooted in.
Gaetz tweeted this the day after this.
Well, also, it's just fucking more disgusting misogyny, and that women are reduced to how fuckable men consider them. Fuck all the way off, dude. Fuck all the way off. Women aren't your sexual toys, no matter how many of them you buy, Matt Gaetz.
Decision was leaked. He suggested women rallying against it were overeducated and underloved millennials. In the meantime, a judge reinstated Florida's 15-week abortion ban this month after initially blocking the new law. The fight isn't over, and politicians like Congressman Gaetz aren't backing down.
It's just pure ugliness, and I see that ugliness on the inside. I see it on the outside.
I see ugliness on my screen right fucking now.
Nothing to celebrate, and it is nothing to cheer.
What a gigantic piece of shit. But don't worry. He will be in jail by 2024. At least that's what a Pence Aid says. Pence Aid shuts down Matt Gaetz' attack. It's more likely that he'll be in prison by 2024. A top Pence Aide tore into Representative Matt Gaetz, who was under investigation for the possible sex trafficking of a minor after the lawmaker suggested that former Vice President Mike Pence had no chance of becoming the next president of the United States. A broken clock is right twice a day. Matt Gaetz is right. Mike Pence has absolutely zero chance of being the next president of the United States. The idea is just laughable. If he wanted to be president, his key to becoming president would have been pulling the trigger on the 25th Amendment after January 6th. That was how you could have been president, sir. You could have enjoyed it for a couple of weeks. You would have got a few days in the Oval. You would have got a few days in what do they call it? The yellow Oval. You would have got to wear the pajamas. If you wanted to taste the presidency, that was your only fucking shot, dude. That's as close as you will ever fucking come. Oh, we got his comments.
Our America is proudly ultra MAGA, not some low.
Ultra MAGA my ass.
On that note, let me just say what everybody here knows. Mike Pence will never be president. Nice guy, not a leader.
Well, that wasn't even that bad of a shot.
I don't know if Mike Pence will run for president in 2024, but I don't think Matt Gaetz will have an impact on that. In fact, I'd be surprised if he was still voting. It's more likely he'll be in prison for child sex trafficking by 2024. And I'm actually surprised that Florida law enforcement still allows him to speak to teenage conferences like that. So I'm not too worried about Matt Gaetz.
That was great. Honestly, how is he speaking at a teenage conference? TP USA.